Hello everyone, welcome back to a Sims 4 speed build. This one is a little bit light on the speed building part and a little bit heavy on the editing a pre-existing lot. So this is another one for the all packs save file. And this is gonna happen. I've mentioned this in other videos before. This is gonna happen a lot until I get this save file complete. And even then, it's still probably going to happen. I'll probably never create another new save file from scratch. I will just go in and edit this save file every time new packs come out. So I've mentioned this before, and I do go back and edit most, if not all, of the lots every time there are new packs that have major changes in like furniture and stuff. So let me explain that a little bit better. I don't go through every time a new pack is released and take furniture and building materials and stuff from that new pack and add it to every single build. That would be ridiculous. But I do go through each and every lot and I see if any of the new stuff would fit in really well with that lot, and if there's any way of incorporating the new stuff into that lot, or replacing something on that lot that maybe I didn't love the first time around, and now there's furniture that better fits that lot. Does that make sense? And usually it's very, very small details. 90% of the time so far it's been predominantly small decorative details, like we got a new candle that we didn't have before, and I had an empty coffee table in one of the houses that was just begging for a candle, or we got a new stack of magazines, or whatever, and I wanted to do something with that empty coffee table when I first built it, but I couldn't find anything that I haven't already used 100 times, So now we have this new candle and or magazine stack, and it's perfect for that coffee table. So I go in and I add it to that coffee table. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Not anything that majorly changes the lot, but just adds a few new decorative elements to it, is what I typically end up doing. In this case, though, after Businesses and Hobbies released, I realized that this would be the perfect residential business place. I don't remember when I built this place if there were already rumors that Businesses and Hobbies was coming out this year. I feel like there were, because I feel like, or maybe I was thinking about Get to Work. I don't remember. But I do remember placing the little food stand, like the yard sale food stand, in the front yard, and saying or thinking they can just sell their nectars at this little yard sale stand until they get enough money to do a full shop. So maybe I was just thinking in terms of Get to Work, but at any rate, I knew I wanted them to have a full shop where they could sell multiple different types of nectar, and lots and lots of that nectar. And Businesses and Hobbies is kind of perfect for that. I wish it worked better from the customer's point of view. That would make it that much better. But anyways, it is kind of perfect for that. I live in farm country in real life. Like, you can't throw a stone without hitting a farm where I live, essentially. And we have a ton of these. Like, I can't even tell you how many of these we have around here. Full, legit working farms that also have either sometimes they have little stands. Most of the time, they have full retail shops right there on their farm. Usually, the retail shop is like located close to a highway or whatever, and then the farm is like a little ways behind it or off to the side of it or whatever. But yeah, there are a ton of them around here, full legitimate working farms, and they don't sell their product to major retailers. They have their own little shops where they sell their products right at their shops, right on their farm. Does that make sense? Kind of like this is. And I thought, if anything that I have made for this save file is perfect for that sort of setup and situation, it's this massive 64 by 64 lot farm. Then I got to thinking about it though. This is a lot. I have played on this lot several times trying to get like the garden full and get the treehouse built with the goats and the cows and the chickens and the bees and the garden over to the side of the house and the orchard way at the back of the house. It's a lot. My sim hired a ranch hand, and everyone in the family, including the children, were helping take care of this farm. And it still was like nonstop from the time the Sims got up in the morning till the time they hit the bed at night. There would be no way for them to also run a shop as well. So I decided, if this is gonna be a businesses and hobbies at home business, we really need to focus that. And so I eventually here end up getting rid of the goats and the goat shed. They're adorable. I love them. We will do some goat specific farms in the future. But this one, I wanted it to specifically be about nectar making and selling nectar and stuff. So I decided to get rid of the goats. I did, however, keep the cows and the chickens because I thought alongside the nectar you could sell like cheeses or breads or desserts or something occasionally if you felt like doing that too. I did put a fence up all the way around the lot, so if you want to, and this is my plan for the save file, you can lock the farm off, like don't allow customers onto the farm. The outside is not set up to count as a room, so I can't click on it and say this is a residential or a private space. So you have to have the gate and the fence there to lock it for everyone but household members or everyone but employees. Can you do employees and household members? I guess what you could do is lock the front door to everyone but household members and then lock the gate to everyone but employees. But then you'd have to unlock it every time you brought guests over. I don't know. It might be a little bit complicated, but if you don't want customers showing up and, picking stuff from your farm and petting your animals and stuff like that, you can lock that gate for them and then they can't get back there. You can also leave it open and allow them to go back there and maybe teach gardening classes or allow them to interact with the cows and the chickens or whatever, or tour the farm or whatever. That's totally up to you. But for me, for my save file, it's locked off to all customers. And as you see there, I got rid of the goats. and I moved the storage shed down a little bit so it just looked a little nicer back there. This is probably the most major renovation that I've done for an already finished save file lot with a new pack coming out. I did consider changing the storage shed into a small shop for them, but in the end, I felt like it was too small and it would still be a pretty big renovation of this lot. Right now, I'm just going through seeing if there's anything from newer updates that might go good in this lot. Eventually, here I do add the alarm panel for the new burglars. But I was just mostly going through making sure there was no new furniture from the newer packs to add. But, anyways, most of the time I just go back into the old save file lots when we get a new pack or a new update of some kind and see, would the new bed fit in better with the style I was going for versus the bed that's there? Or is there something I can use to clutter up this mostly empty coffee table? Something along those lines. No major renovations have happened yet. This is by far the biggest, most major renovation that I've done, like I said, to a save file lot. And that's why I decided to do another video about this lot because it was such a major renovation to this lot. And this is the version that's going to be in the final save file. And there's the burglar alarm right there. Not to say that this lot is completely finished, because I'm sure we'll get more packs in the future where I will add more decorative pieces or trade something out for something else. That's always happening with my save file lots. It's just, like I said, this was a massive change. We got rid of the goats completely, and we made the main focus the nectar making and selling of the nectar. So there you have it. I'm going to give you a brief, quick walkthrough here. Okay, so here is the farm, and it has been updated in other ways since I posted it to my gallery. For instance, I did have a sim come here and work on the tree house. I've got trees planted. I've got some fruits and vegetables and things planted here. As you can see, we've got quite a few, but there are spaces for more yet here. If I'm not mistaken, there are some plants that I have 4 of. Oh no, I think there might be 4 of everything right now. If you run out of space, you can always just make it 2 of everything. But yeah, I think I was actually working on making 4 of everything. And who knows, we may get more in the future that we need to plant here. So 2 of everything is also fine, and you will have more than enough. And some of these things you won't even be able to use for nectar, but you might be able to use for desserts and other things. I have to figure out how to get rid of the goats. You're not allowed, like, you can put them in an inventory, but you can't just delete them. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get rid of those. You're just supposed to have the cows here and then the chickens for making breads, cheeses, desserts, that kind of stuff. Everything else is basically the same. The only big thing was the tree house that I added after I uploaded it to the gallery. The house is all the same. The lights are off right now because I did have Sims living in here. But essentially, the house is all the same. I just moved the thermostat over here to be next to the burglar panel when I added the alarm. That's what it is, the alarm over here. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same as the original. I just got rid of the little goat shed over here and the goat pen. I moved the storage shed over. Oh, I did edit this a little bit so that you could get to the workbench a little bit easier. That might be something that your Sims might want to do. I was just using it as decoration in the original, but now they can actually use it because I moved the bike. I can't think of anything else there. It's basically just a storage shed. And then here is the nectar shop. So you don't actually need the cash register. I just put it there for decoration. I have tons of shelves here for selling all different flavors of nectar. We've got the signs out front, and we've got a small bathroom with a changing table in here for Sims as well. If it were me and I wanted to sell like breads and desserts, I would probably use, let's see, I think I would probably use this one maybe. Yeah, I think I would probably use this one from Get to Work and put it like here. Well, no, because this is a nectar shop. So maybe I'd put the desserts and breads and cheeses back here, is what I would do. You can't put them here because it's not a get to work lot, so you can't just literally set them anywhere and mark them for sale. They have to be on designated shelving units that say this is set up for sales. So anything that shows up here in the small business menu, that will work for that. But that's probably what I do. And you know what? Maybe I might yet do that for the save file, but right now it's just set up for selling tons and tons of nectar. You should be able to fit a minimum, I would say, 6 bottles per shelf here. So that's a lot of nectar there. So yeah, that is the updated farm for businesses and hobbies with a little farm store there. Hopefully you enjoy this farm. Hopefully you enjoyed the original version with just the little sales table out front. If all you have is Get to Work, this still works. You can still download this. You would just maybe delete this building, or you would use the original version, and then if you didn't want to have goats, you would delete the goat pen, or if you didn't want to have cows, you would delete the cow pen or whatever. And you could sell your nectar at the little stand that was here, and then eventually get a Get to Work shop. Like, this lot is very versatile, and you have plenty of ways to sell your nectar. So hopefully you found a way to use this lot and you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!